President Mnangagwa's decision to assign his deputy Chiwenga the defense portfolio has been described as a violation of the constitution, which prohibits a vice president from holding any other public office. Mnangagwa last week appointed Chiwenga, the former Zimbabwe Defense Forces commander, and Kembo Mohadi as the new vice presidents. He went on to assign Chiwenga the defense and war veterans portfolio previously given to Mohadi, while the Zipper veteran was assigned the National Healing and Reconciliation Department. Former Prime Minister Morgan Tsvangira's advisor Alex Magaza said Mnangagwa had entangled himself in another potential legal mess after he was forced to change his initial cabinet, which violated the constitution. 215 of the Constitution specifically compels him to appoint a minister to be responsible for the defense forces, Magaza wrote on his popular blog yesterday. The problem is that a vice president cannot, at the same time, be appointed as a minister, as that would violate Section 103, which prohibits a vice president from holding any other public office. He said Section 215 of the Constitution was specific that the president must appoint a defense minister. It is not, therefore, enough for President Mnangagwa to assign Vice President Chiwenga the role of administering the Ministry of Defense, because that does not constitute an appointment as required under Section 215, Magaza wrote. This means legally, there is currently no Minister of Defense as required under Section 215 of the Constitution, which is a constitutional violation. To cure this, the President must appoint a separate Minister of Defense. Since Section 225 makes the same requirement in respect of the intelligence services, the same minister would be responsible for defense and security. He could, if he so wishes, assign Vice President Chiwenga to supervise and oversee that ministry. If this is not corrected, civil society, the opposition or individuals can challenge the president and government through the courts in order to correct this legal misstep. He added, in this regard, it is important to understand that unlike other ministers, the position of Minister of Defense is constitutionally defined and has a specific mandate. Harare-based constitutional lawyer Chris Mike said although Section 99 of the Constitution permits the president to assign ministerial duties to his deputies, the defense ministry was an exception. He said Mnangagwa's decision to move the civil service to his office was also a violation of the Constitution. The consignment of the civil service to the office of the President and Cabinet, OPC, and the assignment of Ministry of Defense stewardship to VP Chiwenga are both highly controversial, and could reasonably be legally challenged, he said. Section 201 of the Constitution of Zimbabwe makes it peremptory for the president to appoint a minister who should be responsible for the civil service. Neither the president nor the OPC could be deemed to be a minister. He added, similarly, Section 215 of the Constitution absolutely requires the president to appoint a minister, not a VP, to be responsible for the defense forces. There are many ministries, departments and portfolios that are not specifically mentioned in the Constitution, for example the National Peace and Reconciliation Portfolio, the ICTs and Cybersecurity Ministry, or the Governmental Scholarships Portfolio. The OPC and the VPs could be responsible for those without any dispute, but the Civil Service Ministry and Defense Ministry are certainly problematic as they are particularly mentioned in Sections 201 and 215 of the Constitution.